What if I told you that you're already a philosopher? Yeah, you. You might not have a fancy title or anything, but I'm willing to bet you've done the work. Because when you get right down to it, philosophy isn't really about dusty old books or boring lectures. It's about those big, nagging questions we just can't shake.
I mean, have you ever just been lying there at night, staring at the ceiling, and thought, what's the point of all this? Is there some kind of master plan, or are we just making it all up as we go along? Well, if that sounds familiar, you've just asked one of the biggest philosophical questions there is.
Or how about this one? We do it every day, right? We decide something is right or wrong. But why? What are we basing that on? Is it just about trying to cause the least amount of pain? Or are there, universal rules we should all be following? That single question, that's the core of what we call ethics.
And, okay, think about art, or a sunset, or even just a person you find attractive. When you say, wow, that's beautiful, is that a fact? Is it beautiful for everyone? Or is it just, your opinion? Wrestling with what makes something beautiful or valuable, yep, that's another classic philosophy jam.
So if any of that rang a bell, hey, congratulations, you're already in the club. You're thinking like a philosopher. You've basically just joined a conversation that people have been having for literally thousands of years.
All right, so if we're all kind of doing this thing already, what is philosophy, really? Let's get a solid definition on the books.
Well, the word itself is a huge clue. Philosophy comes straight from Greek, and it just means love of wisdom. That's all it is, really. It's the search for wisdom, for truth, for knowledge about the biggest stuff imaginable. The universe, ourselves, you name it. And this isn't some niche thing either. It's a deeply human drive you can find in pretty much every culture that's ever existed.
Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just science? And that's a great question, but there's a really key difference. Think of it like this. Science wants to figure out things it can test and measure. A scientist might look at a car crash and ask, what caused this? But the philosopher, they'll take a step back and ask, wait a minute, what even is cause? See the difference? Science measures the world, but philosophy questions the rulers we're using to measure it.
Okay, so to get a handle on all these huge questions, people usually break philosophy down into 4 main areas. It helps to think of them like a toolkit, Each tool is for a different kind of job. So, in our toolkit, first up we've got logic. That's basically the study of reasoning. How do you make a point that actually makes sense? Next, there's metaphysics. This is the really big picture stuff, like what's real. Then you've got epistemology. This one's all about knowledge. How do we know what we think we know? And finally, there's value theory. This is a broad one that covers morality, art, politics, basically asking what makes something good or just or beautiful.
All right. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. I know what you're thinking. Don't philosophers just argue in circles for thousands of years and never agree on anything? So, if there are no easy answers, what's the point of any of it?
And look, that's a totally fair question. Why even bother? Well, the thing is, the value isn't always about finding that one, single, final answer.
The real gold is in the process itself. It's about training yourself to think more clearly. It's about really understanding what you believe and why you believe it. Honestly, the biggest thing philosophy gives you is the ability to see an argument, take it apart piece by piece to see how it works, and then build an even stronger one. And that's a superpower you can use in every single part of your life.
But it's not all just abstract, be a better person stuff. There's also a really concrete, and honestly, kind of surprising, payoff to all this. Get this. On those big standardized tests you take for grad school, like the GRE, philosophy majors consistently score near the very top. How is that possible? Well, it's because all that training in logic and how to think critically, it really pays off. It just makes you a sharper, clearer thinker, and that helps no matter what you end up doing.
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? We spend all this time trying to nail down a good definition for philosophy, but the very act of asking, hey, is this definition any good? Well, that's a philosophical question too, and that's the beauty of it. Philosophy's never really done. It's this ongoing process of asking better questions, digging deeper, and always looking for a clearer understanding.
So if you enjoyed digging into this stuff and want to keep exploring more big ideas, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more.